welcome to the Daily Creative Challenges in Adobe Illustrator. I'm your host, Julia Masalska. Thank you so much everybody for joining. I see we have a lot of people waiting in line on YouTube, and we have also some of you guys already tuning in on Behance. So I'm going to be reading the chat on Behance. So if you're tuning in through YouTube, make sure to head over to be.net/live. All right, we have Umakorn and Mazhar and Anthony here in the chat, and Wade. Thank you so much for joining. We have so many amazing people. Let me know where you all are tuning in from. If this is your first time, write me in the chat, and also let me know what you think, what you're going to create today with the challenge. And the challenge today is going to be all about modifying letters, and that's something really exciting if you're practicing to, extend your skill set and not only design with existing typefaces, but also create your own maybe, or just create amazing, unique logos with existing typefaces. So this is going to be really exciting for you to really learn to how to make things your own. Hi, Nick is here, and Daisy and Theo and Sven and Michelle, Susan, Tamara. Wow, awesome. Thanks everyone. Cool, let's dive right into this. For everybody who is new here, we have an amazing Discord channel that you all can join. So you can join that by going up here onto bit.ly/AI Discord, join our community, and this is where you are also submitting the daily creative challenges at the challenge hashtag. So make sure to join us there. That's first thing. The second thing is that I would like for you to see our daily creative challenge page. So if you go onto behance.net/challenge/illustrator, you'll be able to find this amazing page where you can learn everything about daily creative challenges. You can also see past challenges here at the bottom, and most importantly, you can see every single day a new challenge unlock. So today's challenge is modify type, and today we're going to be choosing a typeface and then modifying one of the letters using the pen tool. And the pen tool is a really powerful tool. We are also going to be working with the direct selection tool, where you are going to be able to select the vector points. So super cool. Thank you so much everybody for joining. Ben is here, and Katrina and Caroline, Holly. Cool. All right, friends, let's get started. Here's also another way to access our Discord channel, clicking the community chat button. So what are we going to do today? Make sure to download yourself your starter file as well. So if you click here at Get Started, you will be able to download this file that I have prepared for you. Where is it? Right here. So this is the challenge file that I've prepared for you, and you have this exact same file accessible. So I've made it as easy as possible for you to do this. Right now, what we're going to be starting with is we're going to create ourselves a letter just by simply using the, sorry, I have to move my mic a little bit. Just by using the type tool, you can create yourself a text box, or you can also just use this existing letter that I've already provided for you. But if you want to do it yourself, what you can do is you can pull out the text box, and then you click delete, and then you select the letter of your choice. Let's say it's a letter G. Right now you won't be able to see much of it, but it's right here. And what we're gonna do here is we're gonna increase the size, and we're gonna make it white so it has a good contrast for us to see what we're doing with it. And then of course you can select the typeface of your choice. And yes, typeface is only a fancy word for font. Actually, typefaces are fonts, but in a bigger family. So you can see a typeface, let's say, for example, Active Grotesque. It has a bunch of different fonts in its family, and that's why we call it typeface. Cool. So here you can select whatever thickness you want, whatever. You can simply also select a typeface that's a little bit a little bit more interesting, like this one. But I do recommend for today for us to work with a sans serif typeface like this one. And here, if you don't like the letter R, you can double click at it. Oh, we have some glitchiness happening here. But you can select the letter R, and then you can also delete it and type something else that you want. Let's say you want a T, or maybe you want an A, or maybe you want an ampersand. It's a really nice letter too. So just select your letter and work with that one. All right, so I'm going to be working with the R, and what I'm gonna do now is I've already prepared a little presentation sheet for you that you can put into your Behance portfolio later on, that we are going to be exporting later on. So this is the initial letter, and now I'm going to hold Option and click and drag the R and then hold Shift. Yes, it's like a piano board. Sometimes you have to hold multiple keys at the same time. And that's why I always say, when somebody asks me, do you play an instrument? I always say, yes, I do play the keyboard. It is my instrument in a way. Hi, Keith. Hi, Andre. Good to see you. Daisy is saying, it would be cool to have a series on making fonts. Oh my gosh, that would be a really interesting daily creative challenge. Imagine every single day we would create a letter. I think that's an amazing idea. All right, so now we have the live text here. So live text means that we can select this letter and we can type something else because it's connected to our font. But what we want to do is we actually want to outline this letter. We want to create a vector of this letter. So for that, we are clicking Command Shift and O, and now we can see we have created an outline of our R. And now if I select it with a regular selection tool, we'll be able to see just the box that's surrounding the R and the path that's surrounding the R. But what we want to do is we want to address the vector points. So for that, we're going into the direct selection tool, which is the arrow right underneath the regular selection tool. So we click that, and once we click that, we'll be able to see that our R now is showing all of these amazing points, right? And those we call vector points. And the little point next to it, the lighter one, is our radius point. So here we can take that radius and we can drag it to the side. And right now, since we have none of the points selected, it's creating a radius for all of the points of the R. But if we click on this specific point, we can adjust only one radius of this specific point, right? So we can play with this. We can go ahead and create ourselves some really cool effects with that. We can take the R and make it all round. Why not? This is already an option for us. So this is one of my variations that I'm going to create. And maybe I want to use this other point here as well and make that one rounded as well. So, so that it kind of matches with the top part of the R, right? And this is how we already kind of put in some character in this very simple R. Right, so what I'm gonna do is now, and I also encourage you all to do the same, just create yourself a couple copies of that and practice different variations of modifying the R. All right, of course, feel free to ask questions if you have any. We are here in the live chat just for you to ask questions. Chris is saying, I'm still using not quite white from yesterday's stream. Perfect. Yeah, so if I double click onto this is a very white. FF is a very white color. So yeah, we can definitely select the color that we wish, and we can also make it a nice terracotta. And you can of course match the character of your modification with the color that you pick for the R. So feel free to use color here as well, and don't be shy. All right, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to create another copy of this holding Option, and I'm gonna drag it just above the other R, and again, Command Shift and O, and boop, we have this nice outline of our R. And I'm going back into the selection tool. And by the way, here, what we could also do is I'm actually kind of thinking about it, and you know, to make it even better, even a stronger effect of like this roundness, I can even round this corner here as well. Okay, so now I think it's even more interesting. All right, so now let's get into this R, and what do we want to do with this one? Another way to modify a letter is not only create a radius, but you can simply take one of the vector points and move them around. So let's move them around. Let's create ourselves some cool modifications here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take one of these points, and you can see we have these handles pop up. Those are the vector handles of that specific point, and the handles determine the direction of the curve, right? So I want to go back here, and I'm going to select this point, and holding Shift, I'm going to select this one as well, and this one. And now I'm not holding anything, and I'm going to drag that to the side, and I'm going to hold shift, because if I don't hold shift, my 3 points will be moving around to the top and the bottom. But if I hold shift, I lock it in place, and now I can be a little bit more precise with my modification, right? So let's pull it a little bit to the side. Let's create ourselves a nice rounded belly for this R. And now what we want to do is, let's take a look at the lower part. So now we have this disbalance here on this side, right? So what do we want to do is, we want to create the same type of thickness here at the bottom with a little handle of the R. So again, I'm going to take this point here, and I'm going to hold shift and hold that point, and then I'm going to move them holding shift to the side. I'm going to try and create the same thickness that I have over here, right? So that we can kind of match that. All right, cool. That's already another modification of the R. And to match that, what we can also do is we can also extend the thickness or the weight of this line here. So again, I'm going to select this point at the bottom, holding shift, I'm selecting the second one, and again, holding shift, I'm extending the the 2 R points to the side, right? I wanna make sure that I have it all matching up. And cool, we have this very bold, very unique R now happening. So that's, and if you look at the version that we started with and the ones that we have created, they are pretty unique. And so what I like to use that for is, for example, when I create a logo, right? If I create a logo and I have this nice typeface that says a brand name, I can take one of the letters and I can modify it, and I can create myself a monogram from it, right? And the monogram can be used in addition to that word mark. Cool. All right, do we have any questions so far? Uriel is saying, I'm so excited for this challenge set. Yay, me too. And also let me know if you're all participating in 36 days of type. This can also be very, exciting for you to kind of apply the knowledge that we learn here to the 36 days of type project. And if you don't know about it, it's a really amazing project where you can, submit a letter a day, and you post it basically online, and you tag 36 days of type. And there's a big crowd participating in this. So definitely recommend if you want to kind of set yourself a daily challenge, in addition to this one, of course. Cool. Hi guys, good to see you. Awesome. Uriel is saying Team Rocket. Yeah, this could be a really cool logo, right? If we let's actually do it real quick. So let me type this out here, and you can see an example of how I would use this. Right, so let's type out rocket, and feel free to create yourself, a logo example for that, because why not? Because we can, right? So we can take that, and then bam, we have a really cool logo already, and let's just put a little circle around it, and we have already a really cool logo, modified and custom, super cool. This will be an example of how I would use, type modification. Yay! All right, cool. So what I want you to do is, I would like for you to create a variation of these, and maybe we have some time, maybe we can create another variation. Let's take a look at what is here in the chat. Daisy saying, used to make fonts in Corel back in 90s, never worked on how to in AI. I have a great tip for you all. So I have found this plugin where you can create your own typeface, and it's called, where is it? Font Self Maker. And it's super easy. So all you have to do is just dropping in the letters that you have created. And here I have, for example, created some letters, and all you have to do is just drop them in here. And, it will generate yourself, well, I don't know if that worked yet. I think I have to update my version, but here you can type in the characters. So let's say this is my R, and literally you can design anything in any color and drop it in there and program it with a letter that it's supposed to say, and then you can export the font, you can save it, and you can sell it, for example. I know a lot of designers who are creating their own typefaces and selling them on Creative Market, for example. So it's also a really cool additional income for you if you are a freelance designer. Cool. Murai is saying, how come when I try modify a septic point, I end up rounding all the points? Yes, I'm using the direct selection tool. Yes. So I was just saying that whenever you, so let's say I were to round just one corner in this R. I'm going to do that with the selection tool. And if I do it like this, if I just go in and start modifying, I have not selected a specific point yet. And that's why Illustrator thinks that I want to round all the points, right? Although I'm in the direct selection tool. But if I click on the point and then drag, then it will round only this specific point, right? So that's how it works. And even though it's a direct selection tool, Illustrator still needs to know what do you want to select, because at this time the whole R was selected and not a specific point. So that's how you can avoid that. Cool. All right. Yeah, join the Daily Creative Challenge. Team Rocket is awesome. Cool. Holly is saying, can someone send the link for the 36 days of type? Yes, you can also find that on Instagram. You can go onto Instagram and look for 36 days of type. All right, Annika, Font Self Maker. Yes, it's called Font Self Maker. I think it's about $50 or something like that, and I believe they have a test version too, so it's called Font Self Maker. And if you want to know what else I'm using, I'm also using Nina Swatch Pro, which is a preview of papers that you can print on. Just a little sidetrack, the Noun project with iconography for free and coolers to create color palettes. That's just a little sidetracking here. So what else can we do? What else can we do with the R? And how can we make it special? How can we make it different? Again, what I also like to do with logos, whenever I created a variation of something, actually let me go back and let me select the R again. So whenever I created a variation of something, even in logo design, I create a copy of it holding Option, and then I modify further if I have another idea with it, right? That way you will make sure that you will keep all the variations and all the steps that you went through. If you keep on working on one letter, you will kind of get rid of all the other versions before, and maybe you want to come back at some point. So make sure to make a lot of copies. I usually use a lot of copy pasting while making a logo, and that way you have a lot of variations, and maybe you want to go back to a different state, like a couple steps back, and start again from there, creating more variations. So definitely don't just keep on working on one. All right, so let's take a look. What else can we do? Now we have our pen tool. Let's take a look at the pen tool and what the pen tool can do for us. So with the pen tool, what we can do is we can go ahead and create ourselves a shape. So let's say I'm creating a shape like this one, and I can merge it with my letter now. So I can go into the selection tool and select the letter and the rectangle, and I can go into Window and Pathfinder. And in the Pathfinder, I can do a bunch of things with these two shapes. First of all, I can remove the rectangle from the R, or I can merge them. I can unite the two shapes, right? So literally you can cut out anything from the R, or you can paste something into the R. So what else can we do with this? What else can we do with that? What we can also do is we can create, let's say, a rectangle right here. And we can cut out that piece from the R. Again, I'm selecting both of these, holding Shift, and again, I'm in the Pathfinder and I'm selecting minus front. And then Illustrator takes off the rectangle from the R that I have placed on top of that. The important thing is that the R is placed underneath, kind of like if you have a cutting form, like if you cut out cookies, right? You have to have the form on top. So that you can cut something out. And exactly here, the shape you want to cut out of something, you need to place on top of the object. How do you make sure that the object is placed on top? You have to select the object, you can right click, arrange, bring to front. Now you're sure that, that the shape is arranged in the top layer, so it's arranged on top of the R, right? And thinking of layers, it's kind of like layers in a cake, right? When we have the bottom layer, the layer above and above and above. For me, it was always really hard to understand what layers actually are and how do they work, especially when you think about Photoshop. Layers are so important to really organize and make sure that you don't miss any, you know, you just organize the graphics on top of each other. It's kind of like having foils on top of each other, and some of the foils can be printed, right? Some of the foils can be printed. So yeah, basically like a layer cake, kind of. All right, so we can cut out shapes of the R. What else can we do with the R? We can also go in and add something. We can break down the R, and we can also add parts of it. So again, I'm going to create a copy, holding Option, I'm dragging it to the side. And as you can see, if you zoom in, I have added some texture in the background because I really love, you know, having something texturized. It always looks way more interesting than just plain, you know, a plain graphic without any texture. So definitely a cool thing to do also, and I've also locked it for you in the background. If you want to select a different color for this background, you can click, hold Option Command and click 2, and that way you unlock all of these objects. And by the way, feel free to also, instead of challenge 1, write your name into it, or you know, just modify the layout of this. And then you can select the top, and the top is actually the paper. I'm going to arrange it to the bottom, arrange center back, and I'm going to select this shape here, and you can go into, double click into the color right here, into the fill, right? Double click into that, and we can make it any color we want, right? So feel free to play around with that. If you have any idea that, you know, you're using a specific color for your letter, and then you can use a matching color for the background. Cool. A really cool way to find a matching color, by the way. Just a quick sidetrack again. If you select, let's say, let me create a little copy of this. Again, I'm holding Option and Shift to drag it to the side. If you want to create a color partner, so let's say we have this color and we want to create a darker shade of it. What you can do is you can double click into the fill, and you can move around in this area. So what we want to do is we want to make it darker, right? So we want to kind of go like that, okay? And now we have created a perfect partner for this color, right? So these colors work really, really well together. What we call it, it's called tone on tone. So we take a lighter shade and a darker shade of the same color tone, right? Just a little tip for you to select colors. Cool. Now, so what do you want to do with this? You select your favorite and leave it here in customized. Then you're going into, let's see if we have any questions so far. To unite all peoples within our nation, to denounce the evils of the truth and love. Team Rockets. Okay, cool. All right, free plugin. The font self maker is not free. I think it's about $50, but I think they have a test version, so check it out. All right, loving the cookie references, cooking dinner while watching this. Yay, awesome. Yeah, that makes it easy to understand. I thought I saw the texture in the letter. Yeah, so it's there, it's in the back. So to lock the layers, what you can do is you can select them, and clicking Command and 2. Now you have them selected. Now you have them locked, so you can't really do anything wrong anymore. And then the selection of the letters will be easier because, you know, there's nothing else to select. All right, cool. So leave your favorite letter. I'm going to put these by side, and I'm going to leave my favorite modified letter here. And then I'm going into File, Export. So now I'm in the exporting phase, right? I want to export this specific artboard, and I'm going to go export as. You can export as a PNG, but most importantly, you have to click Use Artboards. Otherwise, Illustrator just exports the whole workspace. But what we want to do is we want to export an artboard, and we can do that in JPEG. JPEG images usually are a little bit smaller in size, easier to load, and so on. So then we're going, clicking into export, and here, of course, we have to make sure that it's RGB. Resolution we can leave at 150 pixels per inch. so that the file is not as large, and then we're clicking OK, and our artboard is then exported. And the good thing is that I have only created one artboard for you, so there is nothing to be done wrong. There is only one artboard. This one is not actually an artboard, but just artwork that's placed next to the artboard. So we can only export this artboard as of now. All right, so we have our file, and now feel free to go onto Discord. Again, here is the link, bit.ly/AI Discord. Make sure to spell the A and the I in caps because it matters. AI capital, Discord lowercase. This is our Discord channel. This is where we all come together, and I think there are about 45,000 people now, so there are a lot of amazing creatives. And you know, it's just really exciting and cool to kind of see what everybody else is doing. And there was some amazing stuff yesterday as well, so I'm excited to see your work there. Thank you so much everybody for joining. Hopefully you all will enjoy doing the challenge, and feel free to create multiple submissions. I know this is super fun, and I'm sure you guys will do something really, really cool with it. So thank you so much, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for the next challenge. Bye bye.